Hey, what's going on, everyone? Before we jump into the official casted match here, just wanted to quickly post up a quick image of where we're at in the tournament. We'll be watching Smurf versus INVD Offender today in the circled bracket for round three. Um, and this is just a little beforehand that I wanted to just kind of show you guys. So, hope you guys enjoy this one. Should be a great match overall. Hey, what's going on, everyone? We have a special game here today. We've got a 1 versus 1 for the Horton's modded tournament. We've got Smurf versus INVD Miracle Worker, better known as Hanswallerman. So, should be a very fun game here. We are going to be doing a live cast of this, so we will see how this goes. But this is a best of three in the third round. We've got Smurf playing as the Germans and Hans playing as the Russians. Hans won coin flip, so he did choose the Soviets. Smurf chose map. This is the farm. Oh my god, I'm gonna mess this up. Farmland map. Thank God for that. And as we can see here, Smurf is rushing out a Kubel. And I do believe he actually switched out the MG as well because he had pulled out a Lafayette there, which is a very cool tactic. Get a belt fed on this thing instead of the round drum. Hans has made it into the middle. Very nice hold, and because of Smurf's tactic, he actually is very low on infantry. As we can see, Hans has a ton. He's got a full conscript squad going out to the east point, and then he's already capped the middle with a very good hold. He's got a couple singles coming, including a rifle grenadier, which is going up against the Jeep, or the Kubel. And then Smurf only has a guy in this point. So, Hans is going to get a very big jump start here. So we can see Smurf, what is this? This is the all-around doctrine, I believe. Let's see if we can find, yeah, all-around. He's got the MG42, actually, so he switched out the 34 for an MG42 on that, which is great. Very smart. And Hans, where did Hans go? Hans ended up taking all around as well. Actually, Lend-Lease. So he went the Lend-Lease. There's two Lend-Lease doctrines in this one. And he is the one with the SU-76I. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So we'll see how this plays out. Smurf now has a big rush coming up. Hans played him off of the middle because of his lack of infantry. Kubel isn't doing much. 3 kills altogether. And Hans has also pushed a recon well into this point now. So Smurf is playing it. He's trying to come back here and actually get a cap. But Hans does have a 2-0 lead in terms of points. But Smurf just has an early Vic out. He's got Panzer 1 coming up the middle as well. As we can see here, Hans has a very good position on this map because of Smurf's lack of infantry. He's able to get a couple guys out onto the flank. This is going to be a great guys for spotting as well. As we can see, he can see this Panzer 1 coming up. If he turns this guy this way, he's going to have a pretty good line of sight as well into, probably not Smurf's full spawn, but close enough. It is a 2-0 cap. Smurf is going to take this one back, it looks like, but Hans is putting up a very fierce fight. He had 2 rifle grenadiers up here on the hill, too. We just still have 1 recon here. Ranger 1's getting very close into the center. Smurf's going to try to do as much damage as he can. This guy does have an AT grenade, so Smurf does have to play this a little careful. That goes down very quick. Kubel is also down, as we can see. And Smurf's infantry is just getting absolutely shredded, although he does have a veteran squad coming out now to reinforce this point, the C point, which is the only one he's currently contesting. So my thought here is Smurf will probably try to hold this, establish this as his base of operations, and then start pushing into the middle. I doubt he goes for the northeast point, but we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be a very hard push that he kind of has to make here, but we'll see what he can do with maybe his tier 1 Doctrine buy. He is pulling out a 251x1 as well. So heavy vehicle play from Smurf, whereas Hans is just loaded up with infantry, as we can see on the minimap. It is infantry galore across the map here. And he's even pushing more recon into this point as well. It seems that mid-war, I think early war it was kind of a toss-up. I think both sides could really get out infantry at a decent rate. It feels, at least from what we're seeing here, that the Soviets are able to keep up the infantry numbers way better than the Germans are. Hans did pull in a BA-20. He's going to bring that in to kind of contest the infantry here. And with his first Doctrine buy, he did go with the M3 Stuart. If you're at tier 1. Smurf went for... What is that? Smurf went for the Mech AT gun detachment, which is a pretty interesting buy. Oh, as he's killing some of the guys on it. I don't know, the kill went to Hans, but I think Smurf ran that guy over. He does have a full squad in this 251x7. He's going to push up the 4.7 into the center. He probably does see the Stuart. He's pretty much losing this right point. He's got a squad kind of heading to the middle, but this is heavily defended, as you can see here. And it looks like this 251 was going to head up this hill, but there is an AT rifle here that is now effectively hitting him. I don't think this thing is going to make it all the way up. Such a cool model, though. Look at that thing. Definitely a cool model. The engineer variant of the half track. Surprised we don't have that in base game. Very cool that that is added here. He's got the pack going for infantry support. He's also pulled in a 250x11. Also firing HE. Hans has the BA-20 sitting over here, and he's pretty much taking this point. Smurf does have one guy, but Hans has a couple in here that are decapitated. .250x11 looks like it's still trying to provide infantry close support. Smurf is making his push onto this point. It looks like these Panzer Pioneers might be able to get in there and flip it. They will definitely have the cap weight for this rifleman, or actually it's a conscript. But as we can see, Hans is reacting, and he is bringing over the M3 Stuart. And he does even have a gunner on the 30 cal, so this will shred infantry. He's pulling in a Dishka into the center to provide some close support. He does have to be a little bit careful with the 4.7. Then Smurf is pulling up, or was pulling up to 250 here, but the crewmen are actually gunning him down, but he does pull it out, and he switches over to the rear MG there to finish them off. He's trying to get into this point, but it is a 3-0 cap right now. He did lose the 250, 251, and he is just getting absolutely shredded. I think the spawns might be just slightly inadvantageous here for the Axis, as they have to come over this hill, and then they also have both kind of, I won't call them lakes, but they are bodies of water that are going to slow them down as they push through. The Soviets only really have one, but they do have a better kind of push to the center here. As he asks, how do I outspam Soviets with 150 CP? It's a great question. I don't know. I would say it definitely feels that the Soviets can push out way more infantry in mid-war. Very unfortunate, as it's 894 to 183. KD-wise, Hans is a 56 and 45, 42 Vix. Smurf's he's not doing terrible, but he can't kill the Soviet infantry, which is really unfortunate. He did lose the 250 as well. Hans does have yet another BA-20 coming up to take out this infantry. But this should be it for game one, as we do get up to 1,000. So pretty quick game one. Very tricky to outplay the Soviets, it seems. So we'll go to game two and flip sides and see what Hans can maybe do against Smurf in a different situation here. So we will see what we've got. All right, and we are back with game two. So we have officially switched sides. Smurf is now playing as the Soviets. Hans is playing as Finland, which should be interesting. Excited to see them in mid-war. With the switch, Hans did choose Valley as the map. So we'll see how this one plays out and if it does play out any differently. Looks like this point is switched from Vanilla. As Vanilla, it is actually this trench system right here. So this should be interesting. I think otherwise, everything else looks about the same. Yeah, I don't think that's switched up. So yeah, only this one hill point is different. So we'll see if that makes any changes on this map. Very cool map though. I do think this is a pretty fun one for 1v1s. Usually whoever gets this trench system has a decent hold on the middle, because you can kind of get lines of fire right down here if you're the Axis. And if you're the Allies, you kind of hold them off from getting here. So you can see Smurf is smoking out. Hans is also smoking out with Finns. Finns, after watching the last game, might actually be a better choice, considering they should be able to push out infantry numbers probably a little bit better than the Germans, and they might even be able to match the Soviets' infantry spam. Smurf pushed out a recon squad all the way to the B point. Hans is just sending up a single rifle to contest, so Smurf will have an early cap, thankfully, this time around. And he's also pulling up a conscript squad to kind of push in between. Looks like Hans is going to hold down the center point very effectively, as Smurf is getting pushed back and has lost most of the infantry. But we do see that Smurf is actually pulling out an early Gaz AAA quad mount, which should be interesting. It's not the Dishka variant, but 4 Maxims will be going crazy here. And Hans is actually pulling out a couple guys onto Smurf's flank. So we'll see how far up he wants to push these guys. He could probably get a decent line of sight into Smurf's spawn. Here the Maxims going off. Shooting into the center. Looks like Hans has a recon squad off in the distance going up to the B point. But he is out to a early lead here. 2-1. But much better start technically for Smurf, considering he does have a point. And he's got a lot more infantry still on the map than he did at this point last game. Let's check on doctrines. So for Smurf, looks like he's going the same doctrine, the Lend-Lease with the Su-76I that Hans went last round. And for Hans, looks like he went all around. Looks like he's got a BT-42, T-50, the Stu-40G. Interesting. All right, so we'll see if any of that kind of plays into this. It's got some pretty decent squads as well. There's probably high grenades, I would assume. A lot of the Finns come with very heavy numbers of grenades. But we can see here that Hans has got a very good position on this side of the map. He's controlling this point pretty much completely. So we'll see how Smurf wants to play this. He's pulled up a Studebaker full of infantry. It's not the worst call. I typically don't like vehicle-mounted squads, because the vehicle takes up CP. Some of them coming in half-tracks obviously are a little bit better than others, because they'll have a 30 or 50 cal. But this being just a standard truck, I would assume he's getting... Oh, no. I was about to say, I'm assuming he dismounted and self-destructed. Maybe a little bit too early, as he loses 3, and I'm sure quite a few of these guys are now damaged in some capacity. So those big squads and a big truck, just a little bit early on the self-destruction there. He's trying to get up here to contest Hans with a very good solid hold on this side of the river. Which is crazy, because normally I don't think in most of my games on this map I see action in this area. Most of the action is just centered around the middle, and then with this point being here, a lot of games just end up contested here with some flanking action on the far point. Hans is pulling up a DS-39 stand along with a Maxim, so he's going for heavy emplacements to hold down these points and to contest. The Smurf can really only continue pushing infantry because he does need those numbers to contest the Finn numbers here. Looks like Smurf went for Marines. We'll check if that's a... I don't think that's a DP buy. I think that's still standard. And Hans pulled in the T-50. So he's looking for an early counter to any Soviet VIX that Smurf may bring out. KD-wise, we're at 21-16 for Hans, and Smurf is at 15-24. So fairly even. Slight advantage to Hans here. And Smurf has not chosen a DP buy yet, so he may be... Oh, as we say that, he goes for the Stuart. I was going to say he may be waiting to see what Hans brings out, which is usually a good call. I doubt he's got vision on that T-50 over there, but... he does go with the Stuart. So it should be maybe a good counter. It's a touch or go on whether that Stuart will pen the front of the T-50, so you may have to play for an angle. But we'll see if he takes an engagement. Right now, he was going to bring it over to the eastern point, but it looks like he's actually going to bring it over to the west. And he is now making a concentrated push into the center here. We can see that Hans's infantry, I mean, he's only got like 5 or 6 in the point, and that cap weight of them for the Finns was much higher than all of Smurf's here, but he is now starting to flip it. Hans is continuing his push and his hold on this side of the river. This is going to be very hard for Smurf to push out, especially as he's going to come right down this hill. And the T-50 is there to back him up as well. We can see that Hans is doing what I would always recommend on this map. He's pulled out a flamethrower from one of the squads, and he's actually burning down the center building. So this is not only a position for Smurf to take advantage of for line of sight and defensive terrain shots, but once this is gone, he's going to have wide open lanes of fire right into where Smurf's going to be hiding his troops. So very good to get this out of the way early rather than later. But Smurf is bringing in more Marines. Cool, he's got a drum mag Tommy gun. Nice. Love to see that. A couple of them do. But there'll be higher cap values in these better units, obviously, here. But the DS-39 stand is there covering the road. And it looks like the T-50 is going for the quad Maxim. Smurf did pull in a 76mm AT gun, so it looks like he knows the Stuart probably can't pen the T-50, so he's pulling that out to try to take this out. He does have it on hold fire, and he's going to walk it up so it's silent. It's going to take a bit longer, so he's going to have to kind of play for time and tank a lot of these rounds, but his aim is to get it up. And ooh, nice grenade over here. Actually, no, that was over here. As he hit him with it, did that hurt. And this guy's sitting in the trench. Man, great grenade. But Hans is pulling more infantry up. And he's pulling in a Rojakari squad as well. Coming this way. So he's going to make a full push here. And Smurf really only has a couple recons around and then some conscripts. So this point can easily fall. We can see with the building down, Hans is able to just sit in the riverbank and flame into this back position. He's going to likely wait for the rest of this to fall and then go again with the flamer on the now exposed infantry. He likely sees the 76 mil because he did back off. May or may not, but he does see the Stewart coming up. The Stewart is firing into the middle. We'll see if any of these guys, especially some of these recon with that extended vision, are able to identify the 76 before it gets into position. But Smurf is keeping it very much back on the hill to kind of hold him off. We do now have Hans's new push. Smurf clearly reacting as he does see it. Hans is splitting up the guys to either side. And Smurf is actually opening this up for some vision and line of sight to start some early shots. It'll work to both players' advantage and disadvantage, though. Because obviously opens it up for Hans. You see Stewart is pushing. So we'll see if Hans is too busy to micro on both flanks, as he is focusing over here currently. Try to get an angle of that just to see if he does go into first person there. But yeah, he's fully committing here. Smurf does have a BA-20 coming in to contest, and this is going to be very annoying. He doesn't really have any AT here for Hans, so this should be able to wipe out the infantry, but there is no counter infantry. The T-50 is going onto the Stewart. It is hitting it. Smurf hasn't reacted yet, but he did just jump onto the 76. It was on hold fire, and it looks like it was out of range there as well. Hans has been able to decap the middle. He's actually running dual flamers here. So those are going to be very annoying. And this BA-20 from Smurf, he's back over here to deal with it. And Hans does get a couple AT grenades off. Smurf got a little too close. He was likely better sitting it up here, but obviously couldn't see everything because there's no infantry support. So Hans is going to be able to cap that point very easily. Smurf does have some Marine recon going over there to retake it, or at least try to deal with that. We do hear the 76 now going against the T-50. Stewart is pushing back up as well. This is likely desynced. It's probably back a little bit further. Yep, there we go. And it looks like Smurf has pulled up another BA-20 to go over to that right flank to help out. He needs to take one of those as it is currently a 2-0 lead. And Hans would have been capping this one, but the Marine infantry are pushed in now. He does have a couple guys out of the point that he could push in to get some cap weight here. As you can see, it is a bit of a grenade micro. This guy's got 3 AT grenades. Molly and TNT. Most likely they all do. Yeah, it looks like it. Some of them have thrown about 4 grenades on some of these guys as well. And he's also pulling the Stewart over with the BA coming in. So the BA, he's getting very close. He's got to kind of play this very strategically. Hans is not pulling over the T-50, so he's going to stick with this. He does have the center as well. We do see the BA coming in very aggressive. The Stewart's also coming in, which is a really bad move here. He's over here, he can just easily get an AT grenade off when he does, and the Stewart is going to go down. So the BA-20 took a molly, Stewart takes an AT grenade, and Smurf does call GG. So with that, it's a 2-0 victory in round 3 here for Hans. So Hans will advance to the next round. As we can see, the infantry numbers just, I think, outweighed Smurf here in both games. So GG's to both players, and we will see Hans in round 4. Thanks for watching, everyone.